Hello everyone, welcome to yet another amazing episode. Today I have among myself some of the most intelligent people I know, so whatever they're going to say is going to come from an intelligent point. However, please remember we are not authorities in these areas. We are communicating what we know. And now they will introduce themselves. From the gentleman on my left hand, from the left.
Habari, my name is Emmanuel. I am a writer, upcoming year, don't hold me on that one. I'm a writer, I am also a human rights activist. Yeah, we'll stop it at that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Emmanuel, for being with us. Yes.
Hello, I am a clown. My name is Angaga. That is it.
I'm just a guy called Jeff Chang. It's really nice to meet you guys.
The lady with a voice.
I'm Mokami. I'm very passionate about this topic we are going to be discussing today. Basically that's it.
Thank you guys so much for joining me on this. I do hope that we're going to have fruitful conversations. So just to give you guys a brief background of what we are going to do. We are talking about the battle of the sexes, the battle of the genders, if you may. We're trying to understand why 20, 30 years down the line, there's still a feminist movement that is very strong. Some people try to say that it's turned into a toxic movement, other people argue against it, and we're also trying to understand, does the patriarchy really exist? Is toxic masculinity a concept that is there, or is it something that was created to try and vilify men? And is toxic feminism something that we created to discard the issues that have been brought forth by the feminists? So without further ado, let's get into it. My first question would be, when you hear toxic feminism or toxic masculinity, what do you think? What is the first thing that comes to mind?
She's passionate.
She's passionate.
She's passionate. What's happening?
Let's start it.
For me, it sounds a bit extreme, especially when anyone says feminism is toxic, because that probably comes from a point of view of a person, a man who's been challenged by a lady, and they don't want to accept that ladies can be better in one area or another. And most times toxic femininity is brought up by, we were told not to throw shade.
You can throw all the shade that is available. Throw the entire tree.
I'll be subtle with this.
It has begun.
It actually has begun. The swords have been drawn.
I'll be subtle with this.
Ooh,
I'll be very subtle with this.
very sad.
And I'll just say this, I don't like the term toxic femininity, because men cannot purport to say they know what women have been through. And I can't say I know what the women in the 70s had been through, because I wasn't alive in the 70s. And I can't afford to say that their femininity was toxic. I'm sure people in the 70s said this is toxic femininity. So as long as women are still asking for their place on the table and what they want and what they expect to be done, there are men out there who will say you're being toxic because you're a woman.
Okay.
My God.
Who says that?
As in what? You do not believe there's such a thing as toxic feminism?
No, I don't.
Let's start with toxic feminism,
Yes.
Okay.
and masculinity in the same sentence. If one seeks to oppress the other gender, or the other sex, they are toxic.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay.
If you want to take away the position or the voice of the other gender, you are done. We cannot talk about you being as a right activist or whatever that you stand for, because you are a dictator. We can start on that. You are toxic. You have construed views. I don't even know how to say that.
Okay.
Bana.
Okay. I hear you.
Because hakuna vile utaniambia let's take away opportunities and say that kuna huyu mse, just because of their gender, we're going to take away that, and because we have been oppressed back in the day, this is going to be fair. It's fair to us.
So, okay.
That's according to
That's from
and then there's this other type of man, the toxic kind of man, that still has traditional views as women as lesser creatures.
Okay.
They do not want to view as women as equals to ourselves. You know?
Okay.
And that person is toxic.
Okay.
That's my definition. Naishi hapo.
Sawa basi. I have something to say about that, but let Michelle go ahead first.
Okay, let's tulifunzwa shuleni. Toxic masculinity. Okay, I'm not saying that it was created by men, but it was created by men because it's a patriarchal society from the past.
Yeah.
It has been a patriarchal society, and they're the ones who created it to be disenfranchised. To disadvantage any male that was considered lesser than the ones who were on top. So toxic masculinity is the existence of discrimination within men, in my view, and toxic femininity. It may exist.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
It does not exist. In my it's my opinion anyway. In my opinion, it's just people trying to. It's either someone is misguided to think they're a feminist, and they're just toxic as a person.
But the male aren't.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You're just toxic as a person. You can't be a toxic feminist. You're just toxic as a person.
That is what. Let's go to Emmanuel. Go.
Sijui nianzie wapi.
From the beginning.
I think all I see are constructs in the sense. Not to say that there isn't anything such as that. I think they are terms that we have come to associate or apply to the various unagreeable opinions of each side.
Okay.
So if I'm a friend to a lady who is very vocal about feminist ideas, fairly enough, like just vocal, you know, I could also be allowed to say that pia mimi nitafeel, hey, that's toxic, not really because hasemi kitu correct, but simply because I am not accustomed to hearing that type of information, and vice versa is true. That's one.
Okay.
The other one.
There's more.
There's more.
Please teach us, sensei.
A quick other construct I see is now the visible senseless opinions
For dictionary.
that someone will have, senseless in the sense like it goes against general
What is considered common sense?
Not necessarily common sense, but what will generally be considered approved human understanding. Like the way we can relate with you, like tuseme unaenda shule lakini wewe unajua tu wenyewe, it is sensible for me to listen to you first, since we are going to make a decision together that is going to be affecting both of us, for example. So in that light, naona pia watu saa zingine tunasemanga toxic masculinity because ati mwanaume asilale kwa nyumba, ende alale kwa forest na simba wengine, for example. Another type of toxic masculinity inasema wasichana tu wakae kwa kitchen. You see, now that's a very quick one that we can easily say, for example, toxic masculinity. So my whole point here is I think they are just terms that we use, or let me say that we use to understand what we would call an extreme of that other side. But essentially, vile mi huona ni hizo zote tu ni constructs, ni vile tu tumekataa to see the bigger picture, which to me then would be what then would we say is toxic equality. You know, like maybe sometimes we take ourselves out of the picture and now speak of, you know, we're just relating human being to human being. It's just different experiences. So if I sound too extreme, try then to help me understand what is not toxic. But now see tunashindana too toxic.
And you know, when I get from that, I started with toxic feminism and toxic masculinity, mainly because I feel like those are the terms that have been used so much. We have run away from the real definition of what feminism is and what masculinity is.
You still find that the ideas that men had at that time of oppressing one gender, the women, some women in several communities have taken the whole concept and they are trying to apply the same concept.
Okay.
Or like
which
kind?
one?
It's like
it's our time to eat.
Yeah, it's our time.
At the table.
Guys have progressed, guys have worked against this, but then unasikia mwanaume hafai kufanya hivyo. Kwa nini? A good example itakuwa nini?
Please give us. Tell us.
I tell you. Hapa down this road kuna university inaitwa Kenyatta University.
Okay.
Ukiangalia population ya Kenyatta University na courses zingine unaangalia kuna mwanaume mmoja in entire class kama ilikuwa na nini ndio sijui hospitality or something. In entire classroom.
The more service industry.
Na sisi amenyimwa. But wewe mwanaume kama unaenda kufanya hiyo course kanje university.
Is it not a choice?
Hold on.
It's
Hold on. Time out.
Did you say in terms of the school itself?
No, it's not the school itself. No. Here, I love you guys. I want you guys are my guys.
He's trying to understand.
Give him time.
No, it's in terms of you come tell your uncle, what are you doing? Hospitality. Oh no, why? Oh, hoteli. Unataka fanya nini? Hoteli ya hii kazi ya wanawake ya nini, and then they still have that notion. And then the women still support that. Ukifika university, change your course. And this guy is a really good guy, like in that whole field.
But is it not a choice for you to go against?
It's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah.
But then the choice is present. The choice is present.
Yeah.
Then further down that road,
Okay.
tukutana JKUAT. Sawa. You see where I'm going?
I'm like,
Further on that road, tukutana JKUAT. There are girls with a choice, with the opportunity, with set out numbers for them to join that nini, with whole engineering pale, with women in technology, sijui IE, nini, STEM courses zote wamepewa. But umaisikia kitu kaya mwanaume?
But you know,
I
would really want to interject and say that there's something called affirmative action. You know how girls didn't go to school?
Yeah.
My mom went to school.
Yeah.
My grandmother went to school and she worked before she got married. But my great-grandmother probably didn't go to school. And obviously she didn't work. So we are trying to, basically what the world is trying to do is get more girls to go to school, and it's the same thing that's happening in Kenya, not just with women but with marginalized communities. How you go and apply for a job and then they'll, despite your qualifications, they want to try and balance. Yes, they want inclusivity and they want to balance the tribes because we are so many. And you'll find a Turkana working in that position despite their qualifications, despite your qualifications being better than theirs. So it's just affirmative action. And I do agree, but to some extent I do agree that sometimes the affirmative action can go over and beyond, and it can make some
Give me a
people
case in
lazy.
point that it goes over and beyond. But I'm looking at what point, I've not had a conversation that has pointed out to meander over and beyond in this sector.
But no one wants to accept that they've gone over and beyond, because in their heads they're saying, we're doing this for the betterment of something that was done wrongly against someone. So I'm just trying to correct something. I won't see that I'm going overboard correcting a wrong. Justify nasema whatever I'm doing, I'm correcting a wrong that has been done against females,
Yeah, okay, that's a nice point.
And you can't. So mimi ukikuja uniambia ati what you're doing is overboard, I won't see how wrong it is, because it's a wrong I am correcting.
You will actually see the wrong.
Because me, I am one side.
Because it's actually starting a war.
It's not
Let
me tell you why people would feel ni kama sasa au wanatakiwa. It's because I'm not saying that men are privileged, but ukiangalia the way we've been living
No,
over
we
the
are
years,
privileged.
from the beginning of time,
Yes.
we've had men enjoying things that
That's a
women
very
are.
important
that's
point.
really
So and then when someone actually just decided, you know what, women can also be
Yeah, it's
actually
about
exist.
time.
They
there are
exist.
men who
about time.
felt threatened and like apana.
For
apana, no, this
example,
is threatening
a
us.
lady
Yes.
going on maternity leave and then going back to work and being demoted or being told there's no space for you. I mean, a woman generally will get expectant. Men don't get expectant.
But
So those 3
wow,
months
yeah, it's
must
okay.
not
This
be
is oh my
That's
G,
not
because we
the-
don't like our kids. Our
Ngoja, ngoja
guys.
kwanza.
But you can't get
Ngoja.
expectant.
It is
Ngoja
how, but
kidogo.
you don't want to bond with the kids.
We're losing the point to tukianza point fingers to the other side. You see, at the end of the day, what we really want to define as masculinity or femininity, now if you add all those other genders, you see they come with their own teas. It is just a matter of experience. And it is now that, not even now, over time, we can say that some women have been defining their experience of existence differently, but the majority of the world has known some other type, so that's why it has been gradual enlightenment.
Yeah.
So even I think as we are trying to cite our own relations right now, let's be careful, because of course in certain examples, as we have all established, we have had affirmative action, which I totally support as a matter of balance. Affirmative action being too extreme in the long term, like sasa venye unasema, now the other gender that was considered dominant is now severely ignored. And as maybe some people may argue, the boy gender is being currently done right now. So says he like, manze hatutaimaliza, because we are all coming from our own angles. The simple math is tupatane katikati.
I hear your point, but we might, in as much as we want to see the sensibility in everything, the way you've explained it, it's very sensible, yeah? If everyone just understood that it's not about attacking men or attacking women, it's about all of us getting to the table together and having an open and honest conversation, which now brings me to the next question. I think all of you guys have pointed out that it's a question of the individual. Is it really a matter of are females better, are male better, or is it a question of do we need to look at the person if we are going to give them something? Should we stop, take a step back and start looking at people as individuals rather than as their gender? Would that be the better way forward?
Because if you look at even in statistics, once class 8 for I think last how many years? 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
The ladies have won. It actually should matter because in the qualification ya kuingia university. Imefika form 4, they have a better performance. And then
But
in
that's not
Africa,
because they're females.
no, it's not because they're females.
Okay.
Because they have the brains to do this. And if we give them opportunities, they will actually succeed in this. But then you're refusing opportunities to guys who really want to do this, so that you give an opportunity to someone who doesn't want to do this. You see, if we tell these people, kuna STEM, we are saying these are the mentors here, the opportunities here, kuna hii hapa, and then we come and tell guys, you guys, kuna hii hapa, kuna hii hapa, kuna hii hapa. Don't choose this course just because it's perceived as a manly course. It's because you want to do this. You see?
But can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
It's very dangerous if we approach anything as one-sided.
Tunnel vision.
So much. Nenda.
I was about to
You are about to
It's
get
very
the
dangerous
bubbles.
for us to look at something from one side, because people are individuals. They exist individually. People will come with different stories and different narratives. So once we say, let's give them because wameperform vizuri, or let's give them because of this and this, we need to consider other factors. There's this thing called relativity, and it applies in every single aspect of life and every individual. So once we start saying, let's just look at people as men and women,
it won't work.
Yeah, and let's look at them in terms of their potential. If you do.
Some things will be looked over.
Yeah.
I'm asking, what would you like? Because right now we're looking for solutions. To move past
We've moved past the discourse. We're looking for the solution.
So what do you guys like iangaliwe other than
before we
performance?
go to him, I think we'll come in.
Just to answer your question, I don't think we can really give concrete solutions right now, and this is the reason. Because for anything to work, we need a government that is for it and that will propel the society towards this. Let me just give you an example. There are girls in different parts of this country who cannot afford sanitary towels, who, when they are on their periods, have to miss like 4 or 5 days of school, maybe Monday to Friday. So you go back to school, you've learned this concept, and then you go back next week, the teacher is thinking, I have 100 students, what do you mean you don't understand this? You know? And then there's someone else on this other side of the country who can afford sanitary towels, who even have a nurse. They have a nurse in school in case their cramps get so bad and they go and get an injection. So I think we can't really give, especially in terms of getting into the next stage of school, campus or high school, I don't think I would want to give concrete solutions right now until I see the government has done something to propel the society in a certain way. If it's removing taxes from sanitary towels, remove those taxes. If it's making sure quality sanitary towels get into the country, because the quality that gets into the country versus the quality of the same company that is in another country that is very specific about quality is not the same. And then what happens, that girl gets rashes, they get complications, there's a lot. So I wouldn't want to give concrete solutions right now until I see the government is doing something to focus on this, and then I can give concrete solutions. That is my view.
Can I comment on that after you've spoken? After he has spoken.
I think it is a religious problem. Mnaogopa hiyo jina.
I feel like religion plus this topic, there are things that have been there since forever.
No, I'm not even talking about.
So you're not talking about religion in the strict sense of the word.
No, it is in the very word. It's just that. Let me explain. When I say religious, again, the basic definition of religion. Okay, so you will say culture, but I will say religion is not the nature, the way, your way of life. So hata kama kuna mtu religious hapo ama hapa anasema kwamba religious lakini your way of life is different. Watana na hapo after.
Well,
so
yes,
it is religious, it is a way of life. So when I hear Mukami say until the government, why then not get the people who shall compose the government understand this way of life that we are trying to say? Because hata pia bado tutasema affirmative action, but at the end of the day you will have either gender in whichever situations having their own religious reasons, either by strictly religion about how they worship, or by tradition, or by culture.
That's true.
So my solution, very simple. We creatures of this new religion, we really have to take it so far, you know, because at the end of the day, I think for Africans we have the easiest obstacle in tradition, you know. So if ever we are speaking about yes, this patriarchy understanding this, and yes, this feminist understanding this, let us then remember we have you have a whole uncle or cousin who you wouldn't say is a bad person by virtue of their masculinity. It's just that they're understanding.
The other day, I think Michelle and I watched a video of marital rights in the Maasai culture, and we have a friend, he's in the room, can't mention his name. He saw it as a complete affront to the feminist movement, that this woman, the reason why she allows herself to be taken through this motions of life, mara sijui apigwe na co-wives wake, to be taught to be taught a lesson when she's going into her husband's house and all that.
They were teasing.
They were, well, Michelle will say it's teasing, but in reality it's
link for description.
Yes, we will put the link, the description box. We link it. So, to me, these are customs. Like you said, it's their way of life. Do we have any right to come out of the blues? People that are quote unquote enlightened in one way or another because we've read books, because we have written books, because we have watched videos. Do we have any right to come now and say that this woman is not enlightened, so she allows herself to be subjected to such things? And is a woman that is more willing to be more submissive, to be, well, a woman in the traditional sense? Does this woman have a place in the feminist movement? And as a man that believes in the traditional masculine, and when I say traditional masculine, I don't mean go live in the forest, sijui ati become warriors, sijui nini. I mean provide, like provide the original responsibility that a man was supposed to have. Do they have a place in this current society that we're living in? Yes, please.
I think the one thing people forget about feminism is choice. Mm-hmm. As a woman, you have a choice to decide not to be beaten by your husband, mm-hmm. and walk out if you're beaten. As a woman, you have a choice to stick to the custom that you found and not get out of it, mm-hmm. because you think it's better for you. And women shouldn't be judged if they want to live like that. I wouldn't want to live like that, but I'm for choice. Exactly. I'm for choice. If anyone is 18 and you think, well, they're both 18, we should get married, get married. If you're 25 and you want to marry someone who is 70, go ahead. Because I'm for choice, and that is what feminism is for in the first place. Choice. Okay. What feminists actually want is equality, the presence of choice, the presence of the choice to say, I don't want to live like this, I would rather live like this, yeah. I would rather not get married, I would rather, artificial insemination and then get a child, That's what feminism is about for me, choice.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You see, the thing with feminism, it's not, as I said before, it's not just one thing, just a cup, and then that's feminism.
Red cup.
You can be a person who believes in culture and conform to culture and still be a feminist. It's very you see, people fail to understand that it's very accommodative. You can be for your culture and still be a feminist. You can advocate for something and still want to be in that traditional setup of life. So feminism is not a one thing until now you just go around beating men. No, it's not that. It's a very big thing. It's a whole sphere that needs someone to sit down and really look into it and understand it. Not just see it as a threat to you. Sometimes even women themselves, see it as a threat to them. And it's just because someone looks like they're very opinionated as a woman, like she has too much to say. But feminism is about accommodating each and every person.
And I understand that, and what Mokami has said about choice. Are you able, can someone truly say that they have made a choice if they don't have the knowledge that they need to make that choice? Because this lady, the example I gave of the Maasai culture, all she has known is that way of life, like Emmanuel was saying. Can we then say that she's able to make an independent decision based on information that enlightenment rather, let me not even say enlightenment, knowledge that she has? Because the choice she's making is tunnel visioned. It's how she was brought up, it's how things are. Do you think that if she was exposed more, if she went to school, if she got more, do you think that she would make a different choice, or would she go back and do that? Because to me, choice comes from knowing the options that you have. If you don't know the options that you have on the table, it's very hard for you to make a valid, honest choice. And then, in that same vein, does me saying that then discredit her beliefs?
I think like nikitoa point hapa, I'll be out of step because I'm not a woman.
You're
I'm
not directly
I'm not
affected.
directly affected.
But you are.
The only other way I'll contribute is, one when you said that should we educate that girl and give her a choice? That is not a should. We need.
We need to do
We
it.
need. That's not a should.
She should have more
The
options.
people who we should educate are those. Why are you sitting in a committee? Mmefanya weekend mwende mpige msichana wenyewe. As in,
It's the way
it's culture, it's culture. But then we need to show them that first of all, this is an asset of the community. Hakuna, as in, there are things that are better that you can do and can still preserve your culture. You see, because like let's say a Viking culture in Kuoko, they
Yeah.
used to do something like so, but as they evolved, as they were introduced to more ideas, they still kind of sort of preserve their culture and adopted in such a way that honors the woman. You see, so that's where I can be able to contribute. Hii ingine ya madem ya hapo.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
It's
If
alright,
we
guys.
give
I'll keep on
feminism-
drinking then.
I'm sure. I think tukipatia feminism another name, the same concept but another name. I think some people will be now want to join
We'll have a better
Yeah.
understanding. We have come to the end of the show and we're so happy that you've been with us so far. I would like to take it back to my panelists to give you, I don't know, a few parting shots here and there, and we'll start in the order that we started in the introduction.
I think it is important that we continue speaking about gender. Mainly because it is a good way through which we can exercise shared and dignified humanity. So yeah, of course there will be more battles and disagreements and arguments and policies and affirmative action. But I think I would like to remind us to always focus more on the idea of we are just trying to enable a conducive life for all people, you know. So if we are men,
If you are men.
if we are,
That's
if we are the
contextual.
male gender, if we are the male, if we are masculine, then let us try to hear and see these feminist endeavors and insights and knowledge as from a point of hey, wase wanataka tuwasikize, because we are with them and you know we would like to know how they want to live and how we can enable that.
Yeah.
And the reverse should also be for the feminine. That if you find some challenges, then don't just cast everyone, every man, because at the end of the day we require all of us to be on the same boat so that we get shared goodness.
Thank you very much. Please.
Yes. These ones can go off now.
They've done their job.
Yes.
I have a lot to say, but I'll just be brief. I'll try to be brief. Try to be myself while I'm short. But yes, see, this whole concept of feminism and masculinity is not something you wake up and start discussing. It's not something that you wake up and start discussing. It's something you need to understand, and it's not a them problem. It's a we problem. Something that we really need to look into, because I believe in Ubuntu.
Hey, man.
Yeah, if one gender is not doing well, and then okay, there are more than two genders, but if one is not doing well, then the other cannot thrive too. So it's a we problem, and you need to approach it in a way that looks at us as a people, recognizing each and everyone's difference, and that's the only way we can go forward as a people. Yeah, that's my parting shot.
I forgot to include, if you want to plug something, this is probably where you plug it. Plug away, please.
So you guys, I have a podcast and the clown in transit. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Just after the clown in transit everywhere. We are in the top 17 podcasts in Kenya, if you didn't know.
Ooh, girl!
Yeah,
Check it.
Come through!
that information is not true, but
I write, so find what I write on sharedcosmos.com. Shared Cosmos, just like shared and cosmos.com. Yeah, that's it.
Our parting shot is the first thing that in the conclusion of all this, umesikiza yote, I'd really like you to think of this and ask yourself this question before you oppress anyone. Why is it so important to you to oppress one gender? Why is it so important to you that you oppress one gender? The moment you answer that question, you'll know the source of the problem. You'll realize that it is you and it's an individual problem that you need to seek to solve. Opoleni.
Mokami, kuna kitu ya kusema?
What we are trying to do as a society is to progress, is to live in harmony, is to grow. At the end of the day, what will it matter? What will it matter if you have education from either a man, a woman? I'm saying this by their whole binary, whatever they're born with. At the end of the day, will it matter that I was educated by this one? Or will it matter that I am educating a society because I am educated? We need to treat each other with fairness, with kindness. At the end of the day, what are you trying to do? Ukiulizwa hapa watu wakianza movements, unions, societies, what are you adding to the whole situation? Are you just adding shade pale kwa blue up? Ama you have nothing to say and you're just looking for clout? Thank you. My name is Jeff Chang. It's really nice to have you today.
Hey, and the political rally clapped. Mokami?
My parting shot is one for the feminists, because feminism has probably taught many people not to allow other women to have choice. So my parting shot would be is if you are a feminist is to accept everyone with the choice that they have made and not to force down your concept of feminism down someone's throat. And for the men, my parting shot is that for those who aren't for feminism to join this movement, because I mean, think about your mother if you have one, think about your sister if you have one, think about your female friends, and your daughter if you get one, or your grandchild who will be, your granddaughter down the line. So think about it. You would want a better and safer and just a better environment for them. So please join this movement of feminism.
Come through. I believe you guys have learned something, and if you've not picked anything from it, then just know that having conversations, open and honest conversations with each other and with yourself is the most important thing in the world. And this channel was started on the basis of having such conversations. They're really not very comfortable conversations. You might fight, you might bicker, but at the end of the day, we are moving forward and we are going somewhere. And on that note, I'd like to thank you guys so much for joining us, and keep safe, keep engaging us, leave a comment down below, click on the links. We will include the plugs that were included, and so that you guys can learn more, watch the videos and expand your knowledge. Keep safe, look beautiful, subscribe, like, comment, click the notification button, and have fun. And on that note, let's say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye, take care.
Bye.
And that's